everybody. Welcome to Tadaima, Terrace House Podcast, your weekly companion to your favorite show on Netflix. I'm Robert Scarpinito, and I am joined here by Daily Wilhelm,
Konbanwa,
Jack Cepeda,
Irashamase,
and Colin Sparling.
Hello, everybody.
Guys, we have a reason to celebrate. September 10. We know the day.
It's happening. It's coming.
2020 is coming to American Netflix.
4 months, right? Like May is when it started in Nihon.
In Nihon, yeah.
And
in the Japanese language.
Yes.
Yeah. And now we had to wait 4 long months finally. And I was hoping for August, but you know what? I'll take September 10th. Just give me my Terrace House, please. I'm going through withdrawals.
I feel like that Titanic meme. It's been 84 years.
It's been a while.
What's more exciting too is that partially probably why I didn't hit our August our August estimate, because that's what we were saying back in May, because oh my god, we've been doing the show for so long.
Yes.
Is that I think there's like 12 or 13 episodes to this part instead of the usual 8.
Which that's a good thing, right? More Terrace House?
Or
No, more Terrace House is bad, Jack.
Okay.
yeah, or it's terrible.
Terrible house.
Terrible house.
I want more episodes. I just hope that they do. That doesn't mean they do less parts. Like, just give me more all around Terrace House. I want 100 episodes this season.
You know, every time I bring up the show to people that have never heard of it, they hear me say Terrace House and they're like, what? Terrorist house? I'm like, oh my god, no.
I swear to you, I've never heard anyone say that to me before, but they do say
it's happened
Terrace
to me like
House?
at least 3 times.
Y'all,
Yeah, I usually get Who's Terra.
Yeah.
Oh god, I do the Twitter, and every time I try to put in hashtag terrace house, I instantly
Hashtag
get like
terrorist house.
terrorist threat, etc. Before finally Terrace House.
You guys are on some weird like FBI watch list now.
Probably.
Yeah.
Well, now we're complicit, Jack, because we've been in the same room with them.
Let's comply.
We're gonna be held for ransom by the government.
Put it in your calendar, September 10. It's just in a few short weeks. You know, we've been getting a lot of comments about asking, when are we going to cover Tokyo 2019-2020? Well, now you know. You have an idea.
Hype.
So in celebration of that, it's worth noting that today is our last episode of Boys and Girls in the City coverage. We had initially planned to have a bunch more to kind of spread out as long as we needed until Tokyo 2019-2020, but here we are with happy news. So this week, we're going to talk about our favorite moments from Boys and Girls in the City. But before we dive in, I just want to give a quick shout out and say, you know, if you're enjoying our show, if you like what we've done, if you're a longtime fan, please consider leaving us a review on iTunes. It'd help us out a lot.
Please.
So let's dive in, y'all. Let's dive in like Arman dives into the pool and doggy paddles without moving a single muscle.
God,
Yes.
talent.
Arman is like, so I want to go around the table real quick. What is your hot take on Arman Bitraf?
Armand doggy paddling in the pool at Terrace House is my spirit animal.
Is that peak Arman?
It's so iconic. I mean, it's just one of the great moments. And we should also note here, too, this is just going to be a fast, loose conversation about all of our favorite moments. Some of them are great because they're great. Some of them are extremely memorable because they're terrible. But it's just going to be like a mismatch of all that. We're not going any particular timeline here. And Armand certainly is going to come up a lot. And, man, he was like trying to beat Rico's ass, right? Like, it wasn't like a fair match. He's like, no, I'm winning this doggy paddle race.
I'm doing it.
I'm going to beat you. And she's like, I lost.
He became,
right.
whenever he was in the pool, he became a very different person, which is why I really wish at some point we would have seen him like at the beach surfing, because I think like that's where he's most comfortable, like in his element, rather than one of my favorite moments, eating shit on a skateboard because he's barefoot? Question mark?
Yeah, yes. I made a point of this, but don't skateboard barefoot, y'all.
It was so comedically edited too. Like the last thing you see before they move from the skate park to the camping scene is him falling on his ass.
Yeah, and they show it twice, and I love how it's interlaced between like, oh, it's this cute shot of Burns holding Misaki's hand as she's skateboarding, and she's like, I'm doing it, I'm just skateboarding, I'm not even doing an ollie, I'm just on a board, and then we cut to Arman going.
He's like, I'm gonna skate down this quarter pipe. Yeah. Oh fuck.
That's one of my favorite moments, guys. I want to take it down a notch here though with Arman, because one of the moments I'll never forget on the show for whatever reason is when Arisa rejects him.
It's a tough one.
And what
every time I think of that, it is like, I feel like Roshi says like you're like a brother to me. Like the screen just goes black and white, and you just see like rejected stamped on the screen.
Yeah, I just
big bright black.
I just hear like the Law and Order gavel sound, like rejected.
Yeah,
like dude, it's just so brutal. Like to say, I mean, she could have said anything to let him down easy, but to say you're like a brother to me, kind of like, I don't know why I don't like you, but it was just
I hold hands
really
with
hard.
my brother.
Yeah. No, I
Game of
really
Thrones.
I didn't see it coming after all the romance and like the aesthetic that had been set up for what seemed like a very open and shut case of like, they liked each other, they got together, everything went well, they left Terrace House.
It was the holidays too. You know, he was, oh man, it was just the stage was set for it to work out. And like I said, it completely blindsided me because she was going to
blindsided Arman. Like,
yeah, for sure. I mean, do you think him puking at the amusement park had anything to do with this?
I mean, she said she liked him even more after that.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I don't, is the thing.
Unless she was lying.
I mean, I have to give Arman some credit there, you know? Like, very clearly, he was super hungover. The last thing you probably want to do when you're hungover is be in a loud space where things move you around and put a couple G's on you. And yet he does it.
He wakes up and he's like, oh yeah, amusement park. Oh,
Yomiuri Land.
no.
Oh, yeah.
I'll go.
I guess. And barf.
That's like
times.
that's like torture.
It does make me wonder, though, how different things would have been if, like, they went on a totally different day. But I really don't think that, like, his being a puke boy had anything to do with her brother zoning the heck out of him.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm kind of okay with it. I think I'm glad that we saved the vomit kiss for a later season of Terrace House, you know?
We'll get there.
We've been there. But I do think the Arman Arisa whole saga, it's so weird because it's so disappointing at that point, right? When she rejects him and brother rejects him. But when it's over at that scene where they're all kind of building those hat racks or whatever, and Arisa kind of says, hey, I'm leaving. And then there's a little tender moment between her and Arman that's kind of like, yeah, we've had our ups and downs, but we're still good friends, kind of. I think it was just kind of this genuine moment of human connection that I really liked.
Yeah.
That's a good segue too into another great moment of BGITC where they all collab. The house comes together and helps Arisa cross the finish line. You know, building and
really
helping her with her hat show or shop or whatever. Yeah, I mean, Hansan was particularly significant here in this. You know, in him helping her out, and those were all really good memories. I felt like that camaraderie was really high in the house at that point.
Yeah, because Hansan's like, oh, you need a project? I'll fucking build it with my own two hands. Just fucking, I'll do everything.
I've got a guy. His name's Arman.
I hear he's free right now.
That's sweet.
Yeah. He's always free and he's always happy.
There were definitely moments like that where it was like, wow, like everyone's a part of this house. It's not just like roommates living very parallel lives. It's like those moments where everyone converges together, like the camping trip, even though everyone kind of like coupled off there, like everyone watching the watermelon slowly go down river and coming together and like making their picnic and everything. And it's like, wow, like everyone genuinely became friends at some point. Like I don't feel like there was like that the same kind of isolation that there was in I feel like especially towards the end of Opening New Doors, where it was just like, I guess we're roommates, shrug.
Yeah, so that's pretty much the only heartfelt goodbye you're going to get out of Terrace House for the time being.
Ouch.
Can't speak for Tokyo, but like you definitely don't get it out of Aloha State either. And we definitely know we don't get it out of OND.
Yeah.
So
But to back up real quick, I get it took me like 2 or 3 times watching BGITC to really appreciate how awesome that watermelon in the river was. I don't know why, but it's like really sticks out to me. I don't know what it is about that watermelon in the river on a rope. But
Would you say it was the best house member of Terrace House?
The watermelon.
Certainly the most delicious. But I don't know.
it did look damn good.
It was just a cool idea to throw a watermelon on a rope in a river in nature. Really spoke to me.
The river, nature's refrigerator.
Yes.
Same.
I mean, yeah. That's what you
I don't know. I feel like we're gonna have a lot of Arman favorite moments just because he'd been on the show for what is that, 35 or 6 episodes?
Long time.
Yeah, he's there for a while. But I don't know. I mean, it's morbid to say favorite on this, right? But the moment where he gets hit on the skateboard and just kind of how the whole house comes together and kind of faces the possible mortality of the situation, and you know, Misaki kind of chiding him for saying, you know, like, you've got to be more careful. You know, it's just another one of those
burns.
Kind of,
They were really concerned for his safety. It was heartfelt, and he was just, you know how Arman is. He's like, hey, it's all good, man. Don't worry, I'm fine. It'll be good. It's like, dude,
But
you
actually,
almost were not fine.
Could you take that octave higher, Jack, so you could hit that real impression?
No, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do the man dirty like that now. But no, it was scary though, because he looked fucking toe up when he came back home.
Yeah, I mean, he really fucked himself up. I remember watching the show for the first time and seeing that part. I was like, what the hell's happening? And then Arman comes to the house. I'm like, oh shit, you like really fucked yourself up. And the reason why it was such a big deal is because, like, when you see a reality show, you know, especially something like as aesthetically pleasing and as like ASMR as Terrace House can be, very soothing, you don't really think about someone just getting in a fucking car wreck and having a near-death experience on a reality show. That's just not something you think about. Like, he really screwed himself up.
Yeah, he got jacked up.
Yeah. And he had a very Hawaiian attitude about it too. Like, with all the different things that he does, like surfing, etc. I'm sure he's used to getting into various scrapes, but it's like, for that to have happened, especially like in front of Burns, like I totally got why he was like very emotional about it, because it's like, I, you know, saw this happen in front of me and I didn't know the extent of what was going to happen. You hit your head, etc. Like,
right.
I think that as much as like we kind of riff on Arman for being like in the house forever, and like he kind of tried and failed a couple times to get some relationships going, he did have really good relationships with like Burns and Hikaru, and we really saw that with like Hikaru's goodbye barbecue too, where it was like, oh man, I didn't think this was gonna happen.
I mean, they're basically crying. Yeah. It was
true bromance.
I didn't know it was to that extent. You know, I knew they liked each other, but I didn't know it was like, you know, tear inducing. So
yeah.
They're just like, bro.
Don't leave me, bro.
It was sad though. It was a sad goodbye.
Oh yeah. Speaking of sad goodbyes, can we talk about Hansan's goodbye?
No, I knew you were gonna say that. I've been avoiding this.
Like that might be the saddest goodbye in all of Terrace House. Dude. And I know in OND, Tokui said that Shohei's goodbye kind of caused the most tears, but fuck it, they didn't cause me any tears.
Until
Hansan
Hansan. Yeah.
Hansan
Hansan was just a wholesome boy, and he's just like, no, don't make me cry. I'm gonna cry. Stop it.
It's just such a loss to the house. Like the stability of the house, you know? I mean, he was kind of the glue that held so many pieces together. And so it's that uncertainty that happens when he leaves. I wasn't prepared for him to leave. For some reason, I just thought he was going to be there forever. Like I didn't want a world where he wasn't in the house, because he helped in so many ways, so many people.
And what I liked about it is how he told everyone he's going to leave. Because, you know, we just get that scene of him cleaning the pool with Arman and Misaki. And it just kind of feels like, oh, yeah, sure, they're just cleaning the pool for a day. And they crack open a cold one. They're all just kind of sitting around and enjoying the day and kind of reveling. And, yay, we accomplished something together today. And then Hansan just announces that he's leaving. And the other two are just kind of taken aback by it.
No.
Yeah.
No.
I don't know.
And he says that nice thing to Arman too, you know, like, be happy.
Yeah.
Don't change the way you are. And it was so...
It's like it
was such a movie moment. Like, that was like some shit you see in a movie. And it was like, where did they get this guy? This guy's too good. He's too good.
Too good.
Easily one of the best.
You ever see that meme of Antonio Banderas, like...
Oh, yeah,
holds up his
the
fist,
lean back
like,
finger over the lips. Yep.
That's how I felt when Hansan left.
Yeah. It's easily one of the best times of someone leaving, and it totally beats out Rambling Rose. Like, like, sure, it was cool. Like, hey, you wrote a song about Terrace House Shohei, but like, dude, it's so over the top. You brought a whole like speakers, instruments.
He's got a flair for the dramatics, yeah,
for just 6 people.
Like, the dramatics, dude. And you were, I mean, plus Shohei was a very controversial figure.
It's not a competition, okay? They can both be sad times.
Yeah, but Hansan's was sadder.
Also Hansan didn't like, you know, force someone's face into his and kiss
crab
people.
claw.
Okay. I want to pick up the pace here a little bit. I want to transition to a happier time in the series. And that was basically any time that Kokumi, Minori's sister, was being on camera. She was so put together. Kurumi, whatever. You know how I'm talking about.
Kurumi. Yep.
I thought it was Kokumi. But anyways, so she was so good and so smart. And I was like, how is she not on Terrace House? I would have loved to seen a house where her and Hansan are talking. Oh, yeah. Things would have gotten done.
I thought she was going to be at one point. I thought it was like, because she came over and it was like, oh, new member, Shin member. And it was like, how interesting would that have been, especially with everything that happened with Minori and Uchi, if she had been there to kind of like straighten things out and be really real. That was the thing, is that she was really good at, she was just like, excuse me. Here's the reality of the situation.
Like, she was basically pre-Hansan before Hansan.
Yeah.
She was so good. Every time she's on camera, she never had a bad moment. She was so good.
Whenever Minori and Uchi couldn't figure their shit out because neither knew how to talk to each other, but they still wanted to date for whatever reason, Kurumi would just come on and be like, hey, do this, this, and that like a normal goddamn human being, and you'll be fine.
She was just the common sense button. It's like, we're very confused, and it's just Kurumi's there to supply exactly what, you know, a normal person would do in that situation.
And she was also particularly mature when Uchi wouldn't come out of the room when he was crying, and she handled that pretty well, I thought, considering the awkwardness of the situation.
Yeah, I mean,
she definitely.
There was definitely really painful moments in Uchi and Minori's relationship on screen. And thank God she was there to like move it along at least a little bit, because I mean, it just came down to like, I don't know how many scenes we got of it, but there was a lot of scenes when like Uchi and Minori were literally just acknowledging that they can't talk to each other. And like, that's all that happened. And she's just like, Minori, why can't you talk to me? And Minori's like, oh, you just don't understand.
You always want to be serious. Much in the same way that Tsubasa's dad, Tomio, was the best non-member of OND, I would say Kurumi is the best non-member of BGITC.
Yes.
Definitely.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Martha had that one friend that showed up real quick and never again, you know, and she just had her mom. But yeah, she does not compare to Kurumi.
Riko had her mom.
Riko's mom.
Riko's mom was a close second to me.
And I want to say, so she was a member, but at the same time, I feel like she was a non-member. Momoka, because she was a very busy girl. I really appreciated, though, like the look that we got into, like the world of like a ballerina and how strenuous and that life is and how much dedication it really takes. Because I gotta say, like, one of the most heart-pounding moments for me in the entire series was like her doing the competition, and then she was like, I need to make it into the top 3 or else essentially my dream of becoming a professional ballerina is dead. And it's like her entire life up until this point has come to this exact moment, and I think she was number 6. And it was just like, I almost like, I started getting kind of teary-eyed. I was like, oh no, everything's terrible. And then she was like, oh, like someone approached me after the awards ceremony and offered me a job. And it's like, that was so intensely satisfying because it's like, this is her life.
Yeah,
this is real stakes.
Yeah.
It would have been so upsetting if it was like, yeah, she got number 6 and then she just like was like, I have no idea what I'm going to do with my life now, and just like faded off into obscurity. I'm like, no.
No.
You know, in a way, if that were to be what happened, it'd kind of be like seeing everything before Io came on the house. Because Io was like a failed athlete, right? In a way.
Mm-hmm.
And let me ask you this too. Like, okay, let's say she just finished 6th and nothing else happens. Like, do you think she could have still, made some money, made a bit of a career by being an instructor? Or would people be like, I'm not going to be instructed by you. You got 6th.
Well, no, yeah, she would still be an instructor.
Yeah.
But that ultimate goal of like being a professional would just be still out of reach, because there's like a very apparently clear age gap, and like you cannot become a ballerina after the age of, what was it, 21?
Yeah, it's kind of like pro gaming. Like, once you're 22, you're like old potatoes.
Like you age out. Yeah.
Pretty much. Yeah. No, I mean, I think Momo's spotlight on the show, where we got to see her competition, I feel we don't get that too often on Terrace House. The idea of someone working almost their entire life for one shining moment of glory. So it was kind of nice to get that in this season.
It was nerve-wracking.
Oh, yeah, that's a word for it. You know another word, guys?
I know words.
Costco.
I don't want to go on a date with you. Let's all go to Costco. The best
Costco.
way to reject somebody.
The spell for rejection. Costco. Costco.
Yeah.
Costco. To minasan?
Yeah. You want to go? You want to go somewhere? Yeah, let's go somewhere with everyone.
To Costco. How about
to Costco?
Well, I guess
I've always
they have
wanted to
good
go to
popcorn.
Costco.
Yeah. But for real though, the Costco, the $1.50 like giant full-on hot dog and a soda is like the greatest deal in all of food.
Is that the perfect date night, Jack?
I would be down for a Costco date, but I'm married, so me and my wife, that's our idea of fun. I'm telling you.
Fair.
But no, it was iconic, to say the least. And she had to tiptoe through that minefield, right? And Yuki just, left and right, he went out on dates. He just never got any traction with anybody, and you wonder how much of it is his personality, how much of it is his attitude towards things. I just wonder.
I was about to say, how, like, because do you think that he just kind of like tainted himself forever with that whole thing at Mizuki's birthday and being like dream judging?
I think that was definitely part of it, and I think that like in a lot of his dates he probably came across as like self-centered, if I had to guess, because he just seems like that sort of individual. I feel like, I mean, we never get like an extended cut or anything of any of the dates of him talking or anything like that, but if I had to guess, he probably talks about himself a ton.
He seems like that kind of guy. Like, this is just totally a guess, but yeah.
I wonder. I mean, I like him, but yeah, I just think, as we've covered on the show already, like he just got off on a bad first impression, and first impressions are just always going to be hard to overcome. And so, it just did not work out for him, man.
And he wasn't helping himself with Yuriko either, because she just had a very complicated situation going on, and I'm not gonna say it's a favorite moment for sure, or even like a best moment, but it was certainly a really powerful moment, like seeing her get dumped by her boyfriend, her ex again.
So it's not even like dumping, kind of more.
No,
I mean, it's more of a rejection.
Like, it's like, this isn't gonna happen again. Like,
it's
we're
impossible.
living two different lives. The thing that got me the most is like, you're not like this. Like, oh, you used to be so focused, and I admired that about you. It's like stab in the back with the blade covered in salt. Like, that hurt.
But the blade is still really sterilized because he's a doctor.
Right.
Right.
We're
But that was
very official here.
As we talked about before, that's the signature J drama moment.
It was just so like polite too. She's like, okay, thank you very much. Goodbye. We'll see you soon. And then then he leaves, pulls up the umbrella. It's raining, and then just cuts to her and like just tears streaming.
Gently weeps.
Yeah, just
and then he gets into the daughter of the hospital director's car.
Her red Corvette.
I liked that headcanon that was going on with the host too, where it was like,
Yes.
oh, he's got to be engaged to the hospital director's daughter, and he's trying to get this job, and
What if she just pulled up like vroom, 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 picked him up right in front of the table?
Get on.
Yeah.
For me, that's one of my favorite moments of the show. Like,
Yikes.
actually, I liked it because
Brutal.
because it's just desserts. Yeah, that too, but also it's just desserts. You know, very clearly she was using tap because he's a very successful tap dancer and could get her into the blue note, right? So she used her charms to manipulate a guy who clearly is into her, just so she could get into an exclusive venue. And it's like, I mean, you don't owe, like, she doesn't owe him anything, but you don't need to put yourself in a situation where you're clearly exploiting him either, you know?
Do you think she had that conscious thought, or do you think it was just more, I know he likes me, but
Let's feel it out.
Yeah,
I don't know, because the way I see it, she pounced really hard the moment he said blue note.
She did perk up really quick.
Like, she didn't even let him finish that sentence. She was like, blue note? Oh, I want to go to blue note. Let's go to blue note. You can take me to blue note, right? Let's go to blue note.
I just wish she was on the show longer because I liked her as a member of the house, and I would have liked it if she stayed and maybe interacted with some new guys as Tap and Makoto were cycling out. So I feel like she left a little too soon, and I would have liked to seen her go through medical school too and all that kind of stuff.
yeah.
So I liked her. I don't know. She doesn't seem very popular overall in the Terrace House canon, but one of my more favorite females of the house.
Fave females.
Same.
I've got a moment.
You have a moment?
I have a favorite moment involving a female. Guys, speaking since we're just throwing words out
like
there.
This usage of the word female.
Okay.
So you don't hear me saying the
Girls?
males.
Girls of the house.
males.
Okay. So
Girls and
I'm gonna
boys
say
of the
I'm gonna say
house.
one word here. Loungewear.
Yeah, no, I mean, every time I saw Riko wear loungewear, I thought, like, yeah, it looks good on her. What about loungewear?
Loungewear, and isn't it Misaki who buys the loungewear for Hikaru?
Yeah.
One of the cringiest moments I can remember, but it was a memorable moment, damn it. And the part where she like threw out her shoulder, it was just so uncomfortable to watch.
Dude, Hikaru had my exact reaction. He was just like, what's happening?
I think he could have been better about it. He could have been like, like clearly there's a very specific reaction that she's looking for. And it doesn't have to even be like, oh, I appreciate that. Like, if he doesn't have those feelings for her, he could still be like very facetious, and it's like, oh, someone's dressed up today, or like something like that. But instead, he made her feel embarrassed and awkward, and it's like, that's mean. Like, you know,
it is mean.
Like how she's gonna react when you're acting that way.
Is the ultimate outcome she's after? I'll just ask the table here for your opinions. Is it to have him ask her out on another date basically immediately? What's like the best case scenario here for her from Misaki's point of view?
I think it's just more flirting. It's just keeping that conversation going, you know?
Because it's stalled.
Yeah, I don't think it was necessarily like, this will get me the outcome of XYZ. It's just, let's restoke the flames of passion.
Got it. Okay.
Of passion.
Some kind of passion, because he had just dropped off the map there at that point. He was done.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of see where both Jack and Dale are coming from, in that I think, in a way, it was kind of cringy of Misaki to do that. Like, of all the places to do it and of all the ways to do it, like, it just felt very uncomfortable. It's like, definitely, is this your first rodeo? It might be.
It might be.
But I do think Hikaru was kind of an ass, because everyone knew what was going on.
I think he was an ass to the whole situation with her.
Yeah, it's like, it's very obvious. Sure, she's like kind of flailing like a magic carp, only no splash, but like, give her some props. Like, everyone knows what's going on. At least don't be a douche and just say like, oh, what are you doing? Why are you doing that? This is stupid. You're stupid.
He wasn't helping the situation out at all. I mean, she was part of some good moments. She was part of some not so good moments, like the loungewear part, but there was a redemption when Burns came to the house, and their whole courtship was something really, really fun to watch. And
My favorite
one of my
moment
favorite
was when Burns wore loungewear in front of Misaki and he threw out his shoulders.
I missed that part. I must have missed that episode.
It was you might have thought it was crumping, but it was actually an elaborate mating dance with Misaki in mind.
That poncho he wore, that's his loungewear.
Oh
Yeah.
gosh, no!
Oh
Don't
my
lounge
God.
in that. Don't lounge in that. But no, one of my favorite moments that stick out to me is when they're in the living room by themselves, sitting on the floor with their backs against the couch. He just stares at her longingly and says, "Misaki, I like you. I like you." It was really romantic. And then he gets up to try and kiss her on the forehead. She's like, "No, it's too soon. No." It was a really fun moment. And it made me smile. Like, I had a huge smile on my face the whole time there.
Yeah.
It was cool.
It was especially satisfying after all the shit that she had been through, like the loungewear and then the her apparently wronging Natsume / Fuyumi by saying like, "You smell like alcohol. How dare she?"
Oh, gosh.
etc. Like if
Yeah.
that hadn't happened for her, if like her relationship with Burns hadn't happened, I'd be very sad.
I mean, I
Misaki.
think she would have turned out fine still. Like, she definitely had a bit of a bromance with Arman. Like, they were best friends, kind of.
Yeah,
At least that's the
yeah.
vibe I got, you know?
Since we're bringing up Nachan, I think this is a good point here to transition into some conversation around her. To me, one of the most awkward moments of the entire series, it's not a huge long moment, but man, it made me tense, is when her and Minori are in the kitchen all by themselves and it just turns into some weird fight. And like, "What? Nani?" And then Minori's like, "Nani?" And they're just like, the eyes come out, right? Nachan's just get those big crazy eyes. Like, what?
Yeah, like
What?
the murder eyes.
Yeah, what? Huh?
Yeah,
And
stares
they just
like
cannot
daggers.
they just cannot communicate at all. It's just stonewall, and it was just so tense. It
Yeah.
didn't last very long, but I was just like, oh gosh, they hate each other. They hate each other.
Those early
They
moments
hate
with
each
I don't
other.
even.
Those early moments with Minori was just like, please let it stop.
Yes.
Please make it end.
Oh,
I can't. Please
I don't even-
cut, please.
What was that over? I don't even remember.
I think it was around the time Natsume questioned, like, "Oh, you guys don't do PD, like Uchi and Minori, you guys don't kiss around us a lot." It's like,
Yeah.
are you guys
Yeah.
really a real couple?
They didn't sync up about how a relationship should be.
Yeah.
And it just pointed to other incompatibilities in their personalities, and then it all just kind of boiled over when they were finally alone in a room. And I think Minori was like saying to Nachan that she should like, "Oh, did you go out with this guy for lunch? Oh, we didn't know about that." You know what I mean? And Nachan was like, "I don't need to tell you everything I'm doing." It's something to that effect.
Right.
And then it just snowballed into terribleness.
She was a shit stirrer.
Yeah.
Stirred shit.
And I think she does it without knowing she does it because she thinks she's always right and everyone else
Yeah.
is wrong. You know?
Yep.
Like, I think her worldview is that I'm not stirring up shit. I'm making the world correct.
Right,
So-
which is why we get the whole thing with the sit down at the kitchen table and Hansan has to talk to her and they wouldn't let her leave until she finally breaks down and it's like it's hard to fucking change.
Right. And that's why I want to ask you guys all here, what are some favorite Fuyumi moments? If we can think of any just off the cuff. What are some
man.
that stand out?
So there was, and I think it gets kind of swept under the rug in the aftermath of everything that happened between her and Misaki instead. But remember that one time that she was like ardently pursuing Hansan even though he had a girlfriend?
Totally.
Oh yeah.
The
Remember how
one
she
teardrop
brought him-
when she got rejected, the one tear down to the ground was rough.
Like, it's not even that part like sticks out to me because I do think that could have also been part of like, all the other stress that was going on with her. But like her going to his, I'm going to pronounce it wrong again,
Atelier.
Atelier. Ulterior.
And like having cooked for him and like awkwardly sitting like while he's still working and chain smoking. And it's like, we know what you're here for. He knows what you're here for, but you're not going to get that.
Dude, she
Well,
made him that
he-
bomb-ass burger and fries, too.
But he does let her play with his bushes.
Yikes.
Robert. Robert.
The look
Hi.
on your face right now, Daly, is great.
What's your middle name, Robert?
Bush.
Quit talking to him. Just ignore him. He'll go away.
Yeah, I'll leave for the rest
Anyways,
of this episode.
Can we talk about how good that shot was of Hansan in his atelier when he was like smoking at his computer?
It looked like some anime shit right there.
Natsume walks in and it's like they have like the desk like perfectly angled so I see the smoke plumes coming, and just like the way he like puts a cigarette down and like turns around, I'm like, fuck, that's like kind of cool smoking that you see in movies.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't necessarily want to
Smoking's
smoke.
not cool, kids.
No, it's not cool, but in that moment he made it look cool.
Basically, that clip is the definition of wabi-sabi.
Ooh, I like that. I'm reading.
That's what Hansan is. It's like he's got to have that one quirk that makes him like, why do you have to smoke, Hansan? But it actually makes him cooler because
I think
That
we're
one
working
flaw.
towards, there's about 2 or 3 or 4 maybe tentpole moments in this whole series that we're kind of building up towards. I can get that sense now, the way this conversation's going, but I want to fire off just real quick, just a couple ones here that are just smaller. But Arman and Martha, when they get together, and they're that loud ass fucking train in the background, and Armand just goes, "Oh, a train."
Densha.
Densa.
It's one of the funniest moments to me.
It's like the anti-joke of an anime.
It could, he could have been smooth and like they said something really profound during that time, but he just goes, "A train."
Yeah.
A train.
And so
then there was a plane.
Yeah, and then a plane
on the boat.
yeah. And then
A train and a plane while they're on a boat.
in an automobile. And so
In an automobile.
Yeah,
I
and
do
so-
not like green eggs and ham.
I just always laugh and smile when I think about that part. Another part that really sticks out to me is, we've said it before, well, I'll say it again, the reveal when Uchi and Minori finally get together, the reveal of the secret sex room.
Hey, no, it's the Japanese, it's traditional
It is
Japanese
secret
room.
sex room
No,
is what I will
no.
forever call it. Yes. I don't know if they were doing anything in there.
Nothing of that nature would happen in that room, Jack.
Oh, ever, no. But it was so bizarre to me that it's just like, what, how many episodes in? 18, 19? Something stupid like that.
And then there's a secret room.
Yeah, and then
I
like,
was okay. But the thing is, when you guys hinted at it, because having seen the series before, about like the secret sex room, like that phrase was used, and I was expecting like some fucking 50 Shades of Grey, like the red room
BDSM.
of pain kind of,
Yeah.
or like even like something that's posed as very romantic, like there's rose petals scattered everywhere and like chocolates at the ready or something like that. It's just a Japanese style room.
Yeah.
And it's
happens to be a
there.
secret. It happens to be a secret for almost a third of the series.
I loved it because it was kind of like, it reminded me a little bit of games like Danganronpa. It's like, you've leveled up, you've unlocked the relationship achievement. For your reward, here's a new room for you to sex.
Yes. It was the coolest room in the house. One of the coolest for me. I like traditional Japanese style.
I'm still to this day curious, like how comfortable tatami mat / futon combos are. Like those what they were sleeping on. Because I've always been curious, like, are those actually as comfortable as, like, because they're sleeping on the floor.
It's
But I
not
digress.
on the floor. But yeah,
I don't know. I was like, is that actually comfortable? I feel like it would give me back pain. But that's a side note.
This series had, I think, when you look at all of the seasons of Terrace House on Netflix in North America, I think this season definitely had more than its fair share of memorable moments. Thinking back to it, I mean, there's a lot of iconic stuff yet. What other ones you guys have here you want to talk about?
So go ahead, Colin.
No, I was just gonna say that, like, being that this was like my first outing with Terrace House and everything was so new, and I think that being part of it, and now I guess having a little bit of nostalgia for it now, and I guess in some ways, even though it wasn't even that long ago that my first watch happened.
Right.
I feel like that kind of makes every moment that much more memorable. I mean, of course, well before we started this, covering this series, we hyped up the meat crime for daily a ton, right?
Oh my gosh.
That was the first time that we saw, or I saw, something of this magnitude in this show that was supposed to be relatively low key. Like, it was just explosive. For the most
crime
part,
itself was enough, but it was eclipsed only by Uchi's response to it. I mean, how he behaved afterwards, how he handled everything is really, like, to me, the shocking part of it. Shitty roommates eating people's food without asking, that happens. Unfortunately, I wish it didn't. I've definitely had it happen to me before with roommates, but the way, again, that it all played out with Uchi and Minori, ultimately bringing them closer together, surprisingly, but the path to get there was where this all really showed its value, I guess, from an entertainment standpoint.
The funny thing that wound up happening for me is that, like, as much as the meat crime was hyped up and, like, I was ready for it, I feel like I was kind of ruined slightly by just the entire presence of Makoto and, like, his weird entitlement and laziness. And it's like that frustrated me so much more than Uchi's behavior after the meat crime. Like, I understood a little bit of where he was coming from, but, like, when it came to Makoto, I was just like, I wanted to shake him and get some sense into this boy.
Do you mean, like, what do you mean, like, specifically his behavior? Like, are you talking about, like, how he was with Yuriko? Like, how he's going behind his back?
Well,
yeah. What are you talking about when you talk about Makoto?
Not like just him being like, I'm, baseball. I'm so dedicated, and him not at all, like, actually doing anything to further his goal.
Kit Kats and beer. Kit Kats and beer.
Kit Kats and beer. And then, like, his level of, like, entitlement with Minori, like, I got you these shoes.
That means you should
That
go
should
out
mean
with me.
something.
Yeah.
And it's like, no.
I just get the sense that he's just not used to being around people as emotionally mature as the people on Terrace House. Like who does this work on? Like, where have you learned this behavior, Makoto? Like, where do you think this is a good way to be and a good way to conduct yourself?
He was giving me vibes of, like, someone that peaked in high school.
Yeah, I would say maybe he has, like, baseball groupies, but I don't think he's good enough at baseball to even get that.
Not anymore, certainly. Maybe he was the hot shot in high school, and then, like, as he got older, it was like, no, you actually have to, like, practice and work toward it versus, like, just having that naturally come to you.
Okay.
And he just couldn't get that through his head.
Okay.
He's actually just a Chad.
I'm making peace with something, guys, right now. I need to take this down a notch because we are transitioning to T20. I don't know when we're going to be talking about BGITC again for the foreseeable future. I don't know when that is. So now seems as good a time as any to bring up Makoto and what has happened. Is anyone aware? Am I taking anyone by surprise here?
What's up?
Wait. Oh, do you know the outer lore beyond the house?
Yes. So after the house, he engaged in porn of the homosexual variety.
Oh, nice.
This isn't real. You're lying.
There are links out there.
Jack, when you say engaged, do you mean... No, like, you need to explain what you mean, because I'm confused.
Like, say he was manually manipulated by a member of his own sex on camera.
Oh, so he was in the porn.
Yes,
is what you're saying.
Yes.
Versus, like, he got caught watching it.
No. Who cares about that? But no, he was a participant in it. He was an actor, and this is out there, and this is Googleable. And a lot of people don't talk about it, but like I said, I guess it's got to come up now because I don't know when I'm going to get the chance to bring it up again. But it was a thing, and so his life took a turn after Terrace House and after baseball. Certainly, don't know where he's at now, but that's out there, guys. Thanks, subreddit, for that.
Good for him.
What the hell?
For finding himself, I guess. I mean, I will say BGITC, I feel like maybe more than other seasons, is kind of a season of reveals. I feel like a lot of people on the show have something that kind of changes the way you look at them later on in the show. Makoto is a prime example. He's kind of your first introduction to it, where in the first few episodes, I remember being taken by the whole, oh, he's a real athlete. Like, he cares a lot. Yeah. He does a lot of this work. He practices every day, etc. Kind of weird that he drinks beer and eats Kit Kats, but hey, like, he's a quirky guy,
balances out with practice, right?
Yeah. And then, like, around episode 6, 7, 8, where you start realizing he's trying to manipulate the women, and he's kind of being shitty, and then he also smokes, and then he doesn't really go to practice much, and it's kind of like, oh, you aren't the person I thought you were. Right?
I mean, he's a different person, but he's in the same stage of his life. It seems like as we saw you die in OND. You know, this
Yeah,
is the part
yeah.
where you're just finding your way, finding out what happened. So I'm getting the sense that I blindsided y'all with that little tidbit there. You guys hadn't heard that before?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
I definitely hadn't heard that before, and I think that upon second watching, I like you kind of pick up on Makoto just feeling generally unsure of himself from the get-go, right? I mean, of course, that becomes more and more apparent as the show goes on. But by the time Makoto leaves, like he definitely seems like he's in limbo.
Yeah, and I guess this information kind of explains that really sensual sexual scene where Makoto gives Uchi a really long back rub with like oils and everything.
I missed that episode too. Yeah, it was weird. Robert, I don't know. Yeah. But no,
Tons of oil.
I mean, maybe he just needed a lot of. Maybe he was just poor and needed some money, and I was like, "Hey, man."
Hey, maybe.
I mean, that's one way to go. Hopefully, he's happy.
Yeah, let's
Question mark?
pray for this guy. Hopefully, he's doing better now.
I hope I hope he does an Arman and he becomes Makoto Happygawa.
Yes.
Yes. Just be happy.
Happy.
I like
the,
that maybe as the general message of this season. Like, no matter what you're doing, if you're ardently pursuing something or you're just kind of figuring things out, as long as you're happy.
Yeah,
and you're not
that's what
hurting
matters.
anybody.
I think everyone should have
Yeah.
2 life goals after watching BGITC. 1, be happy. 2, learn how to doggy paddle without moving your neck.
It's impossible,
There you go.
guys, to cover BGITC and not mention the coward Omi Rice, which we have not done yet.
Coward Rice.
It was
It's the thing that sparked Uchi into awkwardly trying to kiss Minori.
Oh, no.
Minori, come over here and stand in front of me and close your
Nani.
eyes.
Close your eyes.
Nani,
I'm like,
nani,
oh.
doshite, doshite.
It
I was like,
seems-
no,
Nice,
man,
stay, must
stop.
And then the girls are like, "Can we leave?" Like, "No, you sit here and you watch.
Yeah, you watch me be an awkward piece
I'm
of
a
shit
man
right now.
I'm a man."
God, that was something.
They gave me so much anxiety. I wanted to die.
Yeah.
What's up with the guys on Terrace House not knowing how to kiss somebody? Really?
They get it. I feel like you get it in your head, like, oh, this is going to be a really romantic moment. Like, oh, I'm going to lean over and kiss her on the forehead, or oh, I'm just going to like hold her chin and kiss her like they do in the J dramas. And instead, it's just like they forget that the other person is conscious and is going to move and question your actions.
Oh my god. To be fair, my boy Arman knows how to kiss someone and move in at the right moment.
How about though when
Go,
Uchi and Minori actually did the first kiss? What was that in Yokohama?
No, that was right after the awkward attempt at a kiss.
Okay, so but
Yeah.
he did it right though. He redeemed himself. You know, he had a good actual kiss with her. So don't want to ignore
Yeah.
that fact.
Yeah, because it was after he did the whole stand here, close your eyes thing. And then he leaves kind of in disgrace. And then Minori's like, oh, I might have just given him the idea that I don't like him. So she goes over to his room and then they,
Let's fix that.
yeah.
Actually
They
kiss.
Yep.
In a very, very well placed shot.
Yeah.
And then the power of that kiss sends magic throughout the house and unlocks the Japanese sex room.
I understand. I wonder if they had blocking actually for that shot. It was so cinematic. Like if they put tape down on the concrete, like here you got to sit here, or stand here, put your feet here.
concrete.
Yeah, this
Oh
is
my
where
God.
this is where we have the camera set up. So this is where you have to be when you kiss. So at this time, so the moonlight hits you this way. I don't know. It just looks so good.
Yeah.
It was
I
good.
mean, it's possible, right? There's a lot of, they film, right, in the show, and they come in like a couple days a week. So there are days when everyone in the house is cognizant of this is shooting day,
Yeah, I'm sure they're told where to sit and stuff. Like when they go out on dates, I'm sure.
Yeah. I don't really have any other moments. I mean, like, there's a lot that we're not covering, like the really big stuff, like the Riko and Hayato whole thing.
I mean, that's one of the biggest moments in this whole
Yeah,
thing.
but-
That's the last
Yeah.
thing I had.
But we did just do an
cover it.
entire episode.
Yeah, last episode. So if you want to hear more about our thoughts on that, you can check out the last episode. But otherwise, I can't think of any other major moments that we haven't talked about or any favorite moments.
I would like to give a special shout out to Mizuki, the original OG Mizuki, because she's still killing it. She's still doing barista and coffee stuff.
Yeah,
And
and
I see people posting about her on the Terrace House subreddit all the time, and
Yep,
people meeting
and-
her and stuff.
and Natsumi too, Nachan. I think she is getting married and she might be preggers
Oh,
now.
wow.
She is. She's
pregnant,
preggers.
Yeah, she's totally pregnant. So hey, awesome, good. What else do we know? I guess Yuki and Misaki are not together anymore.
No.
We know that enough. Most couples, I think have broken up.
I think Arman has 2 sleeves now.
Yeah,
Or
he's
like
got
a
second
sleeve and a half.
And I guess I saw on Instagram the other day too, he's working on another Netflix series. So we might not have seen The Last of Arman on Netflix. How
Wait,
cool would that be?
is he acting or is he directing? Because I know he's in production now. Like he's into production.
He's like a PA is what I've seen.
He's a
like he's like
landscaper.
a production assistant. Like he helps around on set.
He won't be in front of the camera then. Too bad.
Probably not.
As we saw in the series, that motherfucker, he can do some manual labor.
Yeah, and I think maybe down the road, who knows when, we probably might do, no promises, but, we might do a formal, like, where are they now? I can imagine a world where that happens, but
we're going to physically track them down and, like, shove a microphone in their faces and say in English, like, where are you now?
Yes, you tell us.
Arman, come on our show.
I'm not putting that bad juju on me.
But
Arman, come on our show.
Here's the thing, though, guys.
Show.
As Robert mentioned at the beginning, we got to get hype for September 10th. We are in officially T20 Terrace House 2019-2020 mode. Tokyo.
We are in Tokyo 2020 Terrace Tory. Ow! Is that
Tokyo 20 mode engaged.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we've just, I guess, edgily, Terminatorly wrapped up our Boys and Girls in the City coverage. Like Jack said, we may come back to revisit it again, but for now, this is it. Don't expect any more BGITC coverage.
Oh, it was so good.
It was pretty good.
Sayonara.
It was a lot of watching a whole season in like a month. I didn't really think about that until we decided let's do it.
It got better.
did it.
The second, third time I've seen this, like it got better. I have a new respect now for BGITC, and I noticed things I didn't notice before. Like I said, this is the first time I really paid any attention to that fucking watermelon, and now I love that watermelon.
I think the coolest thing though about the season, at least compared to like Aloha State to my memory, and for the most part O&D, I think everyone in BGITC is pretty memorable,
Except Momo.
She had that competition that was pretty cutthroat.
She
That part was
just
memorable.
yeah. I just want my complaint mainly about people that leave, like Shunsuke from O&D, is that you weren't here enough. I wanted to get to know you even better. So I guess that's a complaint. Like, have us leave having us want more rather than get the fuck out of here already. Because there are some people that definitely overstay their welcome. And this also reminds me, Colin, we had a cliffhanger from last week. You had asked Daly to rate the Terrace House season she's seen so far, and I think we would be getting our feet held to the flames here if we didn't at least close that loop from last week.
Yeah, OND or BGITC daily.
You were going to just grade them on scale on a 1 to 10, I guess. It's easy for me.
It's not. It's not easy. I guess. Okay, it's not going to be as comprehensive as I'd like it to be because we got to wrap up here. But I think it would be something like Opening New Doors 9, BGITC 8. There's some ways. There's some ways like OND had it in terms of like location was really cool. Had some of my favorite house members. Had some really neat dates. Really good dates. Lots of good dates.
Very good dates.
Tsubasa's dad.
But then, Tsubasa's dad, Tomio. But then BGITC had like a very cohesive feel, I guess, in terms of like we've been talking about, like everyone actually became friends and like there was a lot more relationship things happening versus like individual drama that I feel like got annoying, especially toward the end of Opening New Doors.
For sure.
I don't know. It's hard. It's hard to compare. That might have to be an entire episode.
I think that OND just has like an ebb and flow.
Yes.
Yeah, like an ebb and flow to it, whereas BGITC is just like it takes a little while to get going.
I agree with what Daly said in the beginning here. BGITC in the beginning is kind of horrible. Like it takes a while to get momentum, but once it does, it takes you places. And I think Arman just added a lot of spice to everything, and just seeing his whole arc, his downfall on the skateboard.
Honestly, I feel like if you're introducing Terrace House to someone, BGITC isn't a good start. If you do with BGITC, probably the first episode Arman shows up is a good start, I think, can kind of skip the rest of it and then go back to it.
Yeah, if I was recommending
Go back.
Terrace House just as a series, I would probably say, hey, if you're going to start probably opening indoors is probably what I would say.
Yeah.
I think I would agree with that.
Yeah, we can save all that discussion for another episode. You can let us know if you want to hear more about our thoughts about the 2 seasons we've covered so far. But for now, let's wrap up this episode, our final episode of BGITC mainline coverage. If you enjoyed what we did, please tell a friend, spread the word, especially as we're trying to get new people to watch Terrace House and get ready for the new season. Because let's be honest, if there's any time for someone to jump in and try out this awesome Japanese reality TV show, maybe it's at a new season.
And I just thought of something too, guys. We're leaving Tokyo to go to Tokyo. Well,
Tokyo.
Yes.
That's right. We're finally going to cover Tokyo in the modern day.
Haha.
3 years ago.
As opposed to the archaic 3 years ago.
Yeah, 3 years ago, back when the buildings were still there. I don't know.
Did they even have the internet back then?
Probably not, I think.
Yeah.
Everyone just used pagers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's
Yeah.
a pager?
I don't know. I think it's like a
There's
notebook
no-
has a ton of them.
I think the back
There's,
when
like, no
everyone had still had
electricity.
Does it like plug
Rolodexes.
into your rotary phone?
Yes?
What?
I think so.
Good.
A what?
Okay.
A rotary phone.
Anyway.
You know, like the phone with the circle? Anyway.
Does it plug into your cotton gin?
Guys, when can I buy the new season of Terrace House on VHS?
You can buy it on VHS on September 10 for the low price of $199 that you can send a check to Tadaima Corporation.
Oh, please. Oh, please do that.
Send us money.
Yeah. No, but real talk, definitely spread the word and let people know. I mean, not even just about Tadaima. You know, more so Terrace House is such a cool show and it's really shaking up what reality TV can be. So let people know that the new season's happening and then maybe piggyback and add us to that recommendation as well, because we're going to have some pretty cool insight, I think.
Yeah.
If you don't want to tell a friend, maybe tell a stranger by leaving us an iTunes review, and it would help us out a lot. You know, we're pretty independently run. We do things ourselves, so any little bit of help would be appreciated.
This is 100% a guerrilla operation, guys. We're
all
doing this
gorillas.
all on our own. Yes.
Got a gorilla for sale.
Daly, you look confused.
Yeah. I'm just going to let it go, though.
Okay, good.
I'll just let it hang.
Bye,
Yeah.
Tokyo. We'll see you later. Hi,
We'll
Tokyo.
see you next week, maybe. But yeah, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, any of your favorite moments from BGITC that we didn't cover today, please send any and all of those things to us at questions@terracehousepodcast.com. You can catch us next Tuesday where we're going to start ramping up our coverage of Tokyo 2020. Get hyped, get excited. It's finally going to happen. But until then, you'll just have to wait with bated breath. This has been Tadaima. Thanks for listening. Itekimasu. Email us at questions@terracehousepodcast.com and follow us on Instagram at TadaimaGram and on Twitter at TadaimaPod. Check us out on Facebook and YouTube at Tadaima, a Terrace House podcast.